Right, so we would have seen today a lot of science, a lot of perspectives from different parts of the world, and I want to just remind us what we're trying to accomplish here. I want it to be really a stepping stone to create a community of research and federate practitioners, policymakers, and even lived researchers into this field because we really are underserved. We really are in a position where were completely neglected in international literature. And I want to just remind us that, as we can see, a lot of the stuff that would have been presented in Vanuatu about difficulty in travel and accessing care and the social aspect also appear, as we know, in the Caribbean, in Africa, in the UK. And so I want us moving forward to encourage ourselves to work amongst each other to continue this forum and to continue building on this area of science. Okay, so in terms of the thanks now, I need to probably just take a minute to highlight the persons that have made this possible. So of course, everyone has seen me. I'm the conference chair. I chair the scientific committee as well. I've spoken quite a bit. But this conference was born out of a conversation with a colleague of mine from Martinique. So Dr. King would have mentioned Martinique quite a bit and praised them, and rightfully so, because this conversation was me basically asking, well, I have this study, and I need some form of funding to start it, and the conference was not at all on my agenda. But so happened that in Martinique there's mechanisms to be able to fund international conferences, and so we found mutual interest naturally because we're both small islands in the same space. And here was born the idea we needed a conference. There was no name yet. I kind of attached my research program to it and just said, let's just call it this. But in the day, I was born out of this idea from the oncology platform specifically, and then the cell tech, which is the laboratory attached to the University in Guadeloupe, Université des Antilles, who would have also jumped on in facilitating that bridge because we take it we do not really necessarily see it, but Dr. King would have mentioned a language barrier, which is very valid. Not the St. Lucians don't speak French and the Martinicans don't speak English. But there's also administrative barriers that we need to also recognize. And to get to this point, we had to really leverage the Celtech laboratory, which is an accredited laboratory in France, but also with a very grounded in the realities of the Caribbean problems and questions that we have regarding health. And so it is focused a lot on HPV, epidemiology and head and neck cancer, but it still has a mission that is international in nature, and there's a desire for the persons in the French West Indies to continue helping us and accompanying us in our goals. So in that way, we learn to help each other, and yeah. So just I mean, there's a lot. Just want to highlight some of the faces of the persons behind the South Tech Laboratory. So of course, we have Guy Albert, Augustin Duhamel, who is a researcher who would have been also in the oncology platform at the time, who was that person with whom I had that initial conversation to launch this work, and we have Dr. Stanley Guide, who also at a critical time where we were this close to discontinuing or canceling the conference, Stanley really made it possible to make this happen, and also the support of Dr. Professor Suzy Duflo. Right. So that's us in a nutshell. But no, with no, I don't want to remove also the diligent and continuous work from the other partners that unfortunately I don't have a slide for this, but the partners including the Von A. Lewis Institute for Research and Innovation and their close partners who have really supported this initiative from the get-go, who are the ones co-organizing, as well as the Sarafa Luis Community College, who would have done all of the support in the marketing with Valerie and St. Lucia. I want to recognize, of course, St. George's University for hosting us and providing a ton of support also in marketing and trying to get as much as possible international audience. I'm trying to remember if I have forgotten anyone. Thank you for the AV team for your wonderful support. And thank you for my colleagues at the Catholic Project Steering Committee who have contributed in many ways, and notably Dr. Linduna Telesford, who was instrumental in pushing, who pushed at a point in time I was ready to give up and not do this conference anymore. She said, no, 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 we're coming to Grenada. We're going to make this happen. So thank you to her. Thank you to the institutions, and thank you to anyone that I mentioned. And I really hope you enjoyed this conference. The idea is to have these scientific abstracts available on the conference website. We want to also disseminate this information online. There will be a recording that will be available. I'm getting a nod, and will be disseminated shortly. So again, thank you again for your presence, and hope to see you for another edition of this conference.